Hello, hello. How is everyone going? I decided to have a look at these Languo pens. I've got a whole heap of the other ones that are not the shiny ones, but I saw they brought out a range of shiny ones, so I thought I'd try them. The other ones that I've got recently, as you can see, this is a brand new packet, so we'll see how we go. The other ones that I've got recently that I really like from Languo is the wide. I think I got one here. It's the really fat wide. I shouldn't say fat, wide. I don't know. It's the 1mm wide, I believe, calligraphy pens or color gel pens. I'm not sure what they're actually called on the packet. Love these. They go over the line so well. They're nice and white. They're nice and vibrant. Easy to use. So I've got one sitting on the table just here, ready to go when I need it. Because I have been trying a few different things out, which I'll be sharing over the next, who knows. Still been colouring quite a bit recently, the last few weeks. So I've got a few things, hopefully I'll show for May, June, or maybe since the start of the year, because I haven't actually shown stuff since the start of the year. So this is how they look now that I've got the packet open. So they come like this in a little box. Then we have layers. So we've got the reds and pinks and purples, some blues and oranges and yellows, and that's the bottom layer. Alright, so I've got my little book here, which is where I always do my samples in. As you can see, I've talked about this book before. If anyone's watched them, I don't know if they have. But as I said, I do my samples in here. So let's see how shiny these are. I haven't seen much about these, so they are, I think, the same. Yep, so there's plus, just like my white ones. So I'm assuming they'll be nice wide versus the narrow ones. I think you can get the narrow ones. Don't quote me on that. But I just wanted to try these ones. Yep. So they're wider. I feel like they've got a bit of shine in them. We'll let it dry and we'll have a look afterwards. Or maybe I need to do a bit bigger square than what I usually do with my pencils, so you can actually see, we can actually see the shine and shimmer. So got these, don't have names on them, so that's going to be fun, but whatever. Not too fussed whether they've got names on them or not. I just like checking them out. They feel really nice to use. They colour in beautifully from the look of it. Nice and opaque. So we'll see how they are when they dry. But this is the colour range you get for the 24. Oh, this one's a bit scratchier. I think it needs breaking in, or maybe it's got some glitter stuck in the nib, because that's quite common, I found, with some gel pens, metallic glittery gel pens, is sometimes the nibs get coated with the glitter and then they get a little bit rougher, and it's, you really need to, I don't know, use them on some rougher paper or wipe them on a sponge or a cloth, and then they usually come good, in my experience. Anyone else had experience with that? Scratchy glitter pens and then trying to clear off the nib? Oh, I like that colour. But of course I do. Teal is one of my favourite colours, so anything teal I tend to like. And you can probably tell that when I share pictures, if I do share pictures, is that unless I'm doing something where I'm trying to do something outside my comfort zone, I'll tend to go for the teals, the purples, the pinks, and the mid-blues. And that's how I dress as well. One day I want to get my hair dyed to match, but at the moment I am growing my hair out so I can donate it. And a lot of places, I don't know about the rest of the world, but a lot of places in Australia that take hair donations for wigs prefer your hair to be in its natural state, so undyed, unbleached, uncoloured, everything just as it grows out of your head. I have donated once before. I had it down to my waist and I chopped it up to my shoulders, well, chin, pretty much, if the truth be known. And then I've sort of grown it a bit longer again, but I decided to chop it all off because I got it coloured a while back, just blonde and brown, because I am slowly going grey. And it grew out. So I decided that now that I'd grown it out long enough, I was going to get it chopped from probably mid-shoulder length, so halfway down my shoulders, all the way up to my chin. And the hairdresser was a little bit wary about doing it because she'd never met me before, and I just walked in on one day and went, I just want to get my head chopped. And she's like, how much? And I said, all of it off. And she's like, really? And I said, well, no, not all of it, but I want it chopped up to my chin. I want to get rid of all the dyed stuff so that I can grow it out and donate it. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, are you sure? They're always so funny when you go in, especially if you've got longer hair. I don't know if it's the same for anyone else who's experienced the same thing, but if you go in and you've got longer hair and you want to get it all chopped off, they always double, triple, quadruple check before they do anything. And my answer is always yes, because I've had hair every single length you can have hair, well, as much as my hair grows. So my hair doesn't like growing past my waist, which is fine. It's long enough for me if it's waist length. I've shaved it off before, so I've been completely bald all the way down to as long as my hair will grow. I probably could have got it longer, but I don't like it longer than that for my hair, because I usually find that's when it gets all stringy on the ends, and I don't like my hair feeling stringy because it gets knotty. It's too hard to manage. So instead of letting it go longer and getting into that condition, I tend to keep it, if I have it long, I'll keep it only down to my waist, and then it'll just get trimmed back to my waist every 3 to 4 months. And then I'll get bored with it and I'll chop it all off and I'll start again. And this is what I've done my whole entire life, so it's not going to change. Even when I'm old and grey, I imagine I'll go through cycles of long hair, short hair. Because that, and I will be going grey. I'm already starting to go grey, so I will go worse grey. But that is just how I am with hair. It's fun. Uh-oh. And there I go, dropping them all on the floor. So, give me a minute. Alright, got them back. Whoopsie, that was a bit of a klutzy move. Happens. Anyway, so these are looking very pretty and shiny. This one's a bit scratchy as well. So it was that blue one and this pink one so far. I've been a little bit on the scratchy side. Might just need a bit more use or a bit of a wipe off. How's this one? Oh, and this one's a bit scratchy. Or maybe they just didn't like getting dropped on the floor. Who knows? But these are looking very pretty. And it gives me some nice colours to do highlights with. And in case you're wondering about my sleeves, I don't know if anyone had noticed them. I am wearing a Snuggie. It's a winter in Australia. It is very cold. Snuggies are kind of like giant oversized hoodies that a lot of people have gotten into wearing over here because they do keep you warm. Our houses have terrible, terrible insulation. If you go on TikTok or YouTube shorts, there are always videos about how bad the insulation is in Australia and how cold our houses get. And unfortunately, for some houses, it's very true. I grew up in a house that was actually quite well insulated. So I grew up in a different situation, and then I moved out of home, and I found, yeah, there's a lot of houses that aren't well insulated. The older ones have wooden floors that have gaps in them that no one's sealed up, so the air comes in from underneath the house, which is just delightful in the middle of winter when it's really cold. And they have poorly insulated walls. The roof's insulation, I think the roof's insulation on this house that we're in at the moment has gone. I haven't got up into the roof cavity to have a look, but I have a feeling that either they didn't put it up properly, or it's just completely like disintegrated over the last 15 years. But it is cold in this house, so I am sitting in my snuggie thinking about getting a nice, oh, this one's very scratchy. Let me just see if I can get it to flow a bit better. No, still a bit ick. Anyway, yeah, so yes, our house is very cold, so it's a snuggie and Ugg boots weather. I don't have my Uggs on at the moment, but I really should, because I'm sitting at the table and we've got tile floor, and the tile is very, very cold. It's only supposed to be down to, I think, 4 degrees Celsius overnight. But if you can imagine 4 degrees with no insulation, it is pretty darn cold. So they're the colours you get with this set. Let me try and get it back in its sleeve. Why do you not want to go? Probably because I'm not doing this right. Let's try it from this side. Okay. Yep, got it. Alright, so let's pick them up and have a look at them now. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold as well. All the parts of winter. So they are, some of these are much shinier than others. Like this one down, these two down here definitely have a much more metallic look than some of the other ones. Like you don't even, in real life, you don't even need to move it to see that it's metallic. I don't know if on the camera it shows up as well. Some of these blue ones are definitely ones that if you move, you notice the metallic. But these two, yeah, these two are definitely the most metallic out of them. So they're very cute. Oh dear, sorry. As I think there were 3 scratchy ones in the end. So this one of the pinks, maybe this one, and the blue one there were all kind of scratchy. Okay, they are taking a little while to dry. So I'm going to leave this open to dry for a little while. But generally they're mostly dry, and they give you a good idea of what colours you get. They feel very, very similar to the white one. So in case you're wondering, the white one is very white, very opaque. Let's see if this shows. I think this will show up on camera. Over here, yep. So it's still wet at the moment because it's white, but it does have a really good opacity. And I'm trying to think what I've used the white one in to demonstrate it. Anyway, I will probably do an end of month roundup of what I've been doing, and when I do that I will show off the white one. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. I know that was a very sort of informal me talking and chatting while I did some sampling of these colours. I do talk about random things, I know, and I do talk about winter in Australia. Who knows? That's just me. I'm all over the place. Anyway, have a good week, month, whatever it is, until the next time I post. Bye!